Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I'm the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll, and I'm just a guy that likes BS at work. It's that time again, everybody. It is mock draft season. We are going to do our way too early 2025 mock draft, the first of many mock drafts to come this season. For those of y'all that have been following the series, welcome back. I hope you're as excited as I am. For those of you who are new, let me explain how this works. We're gonna do our mid-season, midway point is over and done with. I actually I had another mock draft coming out on Monday. It was from week nine's games, but I wanted to put it out on a mock draft Monday, so I was gonna put it out anyway. And I'm thinking, the top 10 ain't gonna change that much this weekend. We'll be fine. The entire top 10 changed. Like, as you can see, I had to edit the draft order myself. So I'm redoing this and I'm doing this again. But anyway, so the point is we usually do our first one midway through the season. Um, I wanted to do a way too early one after the 2024 draft or the 2025 draft, because typically you would want to have one before the season. But two things. One, as I said in a previous pod, I was just burnt out. I did a full 7 round mock draft for the 2024 draft right before the draft happened, and a lot was going on at the time. So I was just burnt out. So I just didn't have the energy to even do it, to drive to do it, whatever. And two, I had to be honest with myself. I wasn't that familiar with the 2025 class, so I didn't want to BS a pod in which I really didn't know who a lot of these prospects were and how good they were and stuff like that. And the reason why that's important is because the way I do these mock drafts, I do them as a snapshot in time. Meaning the way I do it, if the pod comes out on a Monday, I'm acting as if the draft were that Thursday. Because obviously draft round one of the draft is always a Thursday, then round two is rounds two and three Friday, so on and so forth. You get it. If the draft were to happen that Thursday, who would be picked to what team and why? And the reason why I do it like that is because over the years, what I've realized is a lot of people don't understand how the draft works. And they don't understand, like, wait, why is this guy that we've been talking about all year, who's supposed to be the number one pick in the draft, why is he not even a first rounder anymore? Or this guy who I never heard of, how did he come out of nowhere? Now he's a top five pick. What's going on? Da, 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 da. A lot of people don't understand how and why these prospects rise and fall throughout the process. So what we want to do is have a snapshot in time. Here's where we are right now. Here's where the prospects are. Here's the buzz around them. Here's what we're feeling about them. And then going forward, the next time you see it. So again, uh, mid-season is our first one. I should have done one before the season started so we know where they're starting and where they're ending, but that's okay. This mid-season one is our first way too early one. I'll do another one when the regular season ends. So at least we have, most of these draft order already solidified. We'll do another one probably after the Super Bowl, and then the All-Star games, the combine, obviously the pro days. So we'll do these throughout the process so that you can see in real time where these prospects are going up and down the board. So and you'll know why, because we'll explain why. Um, so yeah, that's that. So without further ado, let's get started. All right. So before we get started, let me just, since this is our first one, let me just give you my 2 cents on this draft class as a whole. As a whole, this draft class is just not good. Across the board, there are a lot of maybe good or decent players, but not a lot of great players. Across the board, I think a lot of people know that like the QB class isn't that great, but like literally throughout the board, like the offensive line class isn't that great. Uh, the edge class surprisingly has, before that was also looking very weak. Now there's some really strong candidates, and the edge class is actually probably the stars of this class. Um, the corner class is interesting because there's like a couple guys that are up top that are really good, but then there's like a drastic fall off. And then the wide receiver class is interesting because it's not as good as other classes in terms of top end talent, but it's still a very deep class and it's still a very still a lot of good players. So I'll put you like this. If you're looking for a number one receiver, a bona fide superstar receiver, it's very slim pickings in this draft class, right? But if you need a quality high end number two, high end number three, whatever, whatever, somebody that could even be as good as like a 1B maybe in some systems, there's a lot of guys in this class like that. So that's how I feel about the class overall. Um, Going into this. So as I do this, there's going to be things that I do uh that will showcase that. Oh, also, I forgot to mention in the intro for those that are new, one thing we also do is we always do trades. I always do trades. I hate mock drafts with no trades because to me that's not realistic. There's always going to be trades in a draft. So especially in the first round. So I'm going to always do trades in this mock. So let's get started. Uh Draft is starting. Okay, and we have the Jaguars on the clock. And so here's where I'm thinking I am going to do a trade. If you are the Jaguars, there are guys that you want in this draft class that you can probably get further down the board. They need a corner again. They can get some of the top corners in this draft down the board if they want to. Uh, Hell, if they do a smaller trade down, Travis Hunter might still be here. If they want to use him as a corner. Uh, they don't need a quarterback. They just paid Trevor Lawrence. Again, they need offensive line. Again, the offensive line class is not good. I would not take an offensive lineman here at one. So I'm gonna trade down here. And the team I want to trade with is the Raiders. Um, you're not going to get fantastic trade compensation for this just because this draft class is so it's just not that good and the quarterback class is not that good, but you are still trading up for the number one pick. You are still trading up for a quarterback. There is kind of a tax on it in that sense. So normally this would be a second round pick and multiple firsts. I'm just gonna do a third round pick and maybe a first and third next year. Um, Again, you are still trading for the number one pick in the draft. You are still trading for a quarterback. Um, but you're just not going to get the overhaul of picks like you would in a normal draft class because unfortunately this draft class just isn't that good. So we're going to go ahead and do it. And you might be saying, well, if that's the case, why are the Raiders still trading up? Because at the end of the day, if you're the Raiders, you really need to get your quarterback. Um, I don't think they can afford to keep waiting on the quarterback. I think they need to go ahead and get one. And there's teams in front of them. The Giants for sure, Cleveland, Tennessee maybe. Um, so they had to go up and get their guy if they were going to get one. They saw what happened to them last year where they waited and six quarterbacks just went right off the bat, right in front of their face. So I don't think they do that this year. I think they go up and they take Shador Sanders. Tom Brady's in the ownership group. He's a mentor to Shador. I think the Vegas Raiders are one of the few places Dion would want his sons to go to, and that Shador would want to go to. And so we're going to do that with the first pick, Shador Sanders going to the Raiders. And if you're the Giants, you're perfectly fine with that. You're going to go ahead and just take Cam Ward here. Uh, I'm doing this Sunday night after the Week 10 Sunday games. So this is literally right after they just lost to the freaking Panthers, and Daniel Jones once again was the reason why they lost. They're done with him. They need another quarterback. Cam Ward's going to be the guy. He needs development, so maybe you suck it up with Daniel Jones one more year just off the strength of not throwing Cam Ward to the Wolves. Maybe they get rid of Daniel Jones and get a veteran quarterback for the time being, but don't rush this kid out there. Let him sit, let him develop. Please learn from the 49ers with Trey Lance. Please learn from the Colts with Anthony Richardson. We're all telling you this kid needs time to develop. Do not throw him out there when he's not ready. Even if you have to suck it up with Daniel Jones for a year, that's why we're taking this guy now and not waiting for the 2026 class. You're taking this guy now so you can get that year of development going so that you can move on quicker than normal. Because again, next year you might be in the same boat. You might take a guy that might need developing, so that's even longer you got to wait for Daniel Jones. Take Cam Ward now, let him develop. It's okay. You know your succession plan from Daniel Jones now, and that'll make it easier to deal with some of the nonsense that you've had to deal with. Okay, the Tennessee Titans. Um, do you just take Travis Hunter here? Is that the mindset? Um, they could go Will Johnson. Again, I just don't like the tackles here. Um, Will Campbell, Kevin Banks. A lot of these guys are good offensive linemen, but there's questions on if they can even be tackles at the next level. So again, am I taking somebody like that at with the third pick overall? At the same time, they really need to fix that offensive line. Um, I don't know. I would love to trade back here, but realistically, there's nobody here that's worth trading up for anymore. Those are the two quarterbacks I would even consider taking in the first round right now. And to be honest with you, I would not take them one and two overall. Let me be very clear. The value is not there for them to be taking one or two overall. But when you need a quarterback, you go ahead and get your quarterback. So we get it. Um, Tedero McMillan. Three overall is really rich from my blood, if I'm being honest with you. To me, I guess Travis Hunter makes the most sense from a marketing standpoint, from a prospect standpoint. He could play wide receiver and corner. Yeah, I guess Travis Hunter makes the most sense, so we'll go ahead and do that. For the Browns, again, Tyrell McMillan makes sense. It's rich. It's really rich. They want to move on from a quarterback as well. I just taking QB3 here sounds very, 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 very. It feels like you're making a problem bigger by you know what I mean? Like don't keep copying the same mistake. I know you need a quarterback. You're stuck with Deshaun Watson anyway. It's a better quarterback class next year. There's guys I would take in the second round, but just again at four overall, I don't like taking quarterback three. There's a clear-cut difference between these two guys and the rest of them right now. And again, like I said, even these two guys, I wouldn't take them one and two. Like I just wouldn't. In any other draft class, they wouldn't be going this high. So I just don't want to do that. I guess here's where you would take Tetero McMillan. With Amari Cooper gone, you need a number one receiver. Uh, yeah, I don't like it, but this is what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna take Tetero McMillan. Okay, and now if you are the Jaguars, I think you go ahead and take Will Johnson here, and you guys got to do that. Okay, for the Dolphins, a lot of people take Mason Graham. I also like that as well. Um, here's where you could. Here's why I think I might take a tackle because again, Will Campbell is either going to be an all-pro guard or he'll be a really good tackle, right? They need both. So it's one of those things where You know what I mean? Like it makes a little bit more sense to do it if you're the Dolphins. I feel a little bit more comfortable doing it here at six than at two or three. So let's go ahead and do that. If you're the Patriots now, you're kind of kicking yourselves because a lot of the team players that you would have wanted are gone. But you could also go, you can go Kelvin Banks and do the same thing. We need a guard and a tackle, so no matter what, he fits a need. You feel better about it at seven than you would if when they had the first pick in the draft. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take Kelvin Banks. All right. The Jets. I think the Jets are kind of in a sticky situation here. This is where someone could trade up for Genty if they really want Ashton Genty. This is where is there anybody else am I going to trade up for? I doubt it. If I'm being honest, I'm doubting it. Colston Loveland is kind of rich here in my book. I know. So here's my thing with the Jets. For the Jets, I still think you're all in with Aaron Rodgers for one reason only. You got to give him another year to fully get off of the Achilles. I said a couple pods ago, if you lose two out of your next three, you should shut them down for the year. They lost two out of their next three. I think you shut down Aaron Rodgers for the year. You shut down Devontae Adams for the year. Get them, make sure they're healthy for next year, and then do what you need to do to be all in for next year. Um, so with that being said, maybe you do take Colston Loveland here because you need to be all in for next year. Because here's the thing too. At the end of the day, what's your other alternative? You know what I mean? Like you went all in for Aaron Rodgers, stick with it. It's not like you had anything else going for you anyway. And yeah, you can make the argument at some point you got to pivot and just get a young quarterback and hope he succeeds. But like you've been bad for so long and you've had young quarterbacks. You had Sam Darnold, you had Zach Wilson. You obviously don't know how to either draft the right quarterback or develop them. So to be honest with you, I see no problem with them sticking with Aaron Rodgers and just trying to figure that out. So with that being said, I think you do go ahead and take Colston Loveland. It's kind of a reach, but they need a tight end. They wanted that. The offense has been the problem, right? Being consistent and being able to score points. Give Aaron Rodgers another weapon to throw to. Again, I know some people are going to shake their head at that, but like it is what it is, man. Like I don't know. I don't know. Um, Here the pick is Mason Graham. I think that's a done deal. If you're the Panthers, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. As a fan, the Panthers winning these last 2 weeks are really frustrating. I get it. Listen, I'm one of the main people that say if you're a player and you're a coach, you're trying to win. That's your job to win, right? It's not your job to lose so that you can get fired or cut or traded so that the team could get better in the future without you, right? Your job is to win and secure your own paycheck and your own value in the league. So I get that. But at the same time, them winning these last two games screwed them. They were in line for the first pick in the draft. And just like with the Jaguars, they could have traded down. And I would have had them trade down twice. I really wanted them to go from one to that 5 to 8 range, and then trade down again into like that 12 to 15 range. Because even though, like I said, this is not a good draft class and you won't get as much value for it, with those two trades, you still would have gotten three firsts next year, 2 seconds this year, 2/3 this year, and maybe even 2/3 next year. Because this team needs a lot. They still don't know what they got with a quarterback. Bryce Young, he's looked better, but he still doesn't look like he's the answer at quarterback. Um, Offensive line looks good, so that's the one thing you could be happy about. Chuba Hubbard, and Jatavius Sanders, we'll see what they look like. as running back. Chuba Hubbard's obviously been playing really well for you. Leggett and Coker as receivers, they look cool. They look promising, but you're not gonna have Adam Thielen going forward. So either way, you still need receiver, and their defense is a mess. They need help on the defensive line. They need help at corner. They need help at all three levels, right? So my thing was get a lot of draft assets so that you can really plug away at the things that you need. And the way that this by moving down to 10 and a lot of the players that you would have even wanted are gone in this. Um, I don't know. And right here it's saying the only teams that want to even move up are all the way in the 20s. I doubt you want to do that. Although, hold up. This is a really good edge class. Like I said, the edge class is the one thing that you can say this class is really good at, both in terms of top and in terms of depth. Trading all the way back to 22 isn't the worst thing in the world because you could probably still get a good edge rusher at 22. And then, like I said, now, and then going back from 10 to 22, you will get some significant assets for that, even in a bad draft class. Because because the team moving up is still trading into the top 10 and you're still moving down 12 spots. Uh, well, hold on. Let me see if it makes sense. This is saying the Cardinals want to move up. Let me figure out why. Who's here that they would want? The Cardinals need defensive. Okay, so maybe they want Kenneth Grant, right? Because Kenneth Grant is probably yeah. Because that's the thing. Even the defensive interior class isn't great. It's okay, but it's not like great. So maybe they want Kenneth Grant, and maybe that's why they're moving up. Okay, why don't we do that? Why don't we go ahead and it's not the trade you really want, but it's the trade you're gonna get. So here you will get that second round pick that you need, and you will get a first and third next year. So at least you have two number twos this year, and you'll have two firsts and two thirds next year. That's not bad. Let's do it. Uh, and let's go ahead and draft Kenneth Grant for the Arizona Cardinals. All right, the Dallas Cowboys. This is Ashton Genty all the way. All the way. We're taking Ashton Genty. Oh, and then again, that's another reason why they would trade up because they could have taken a defensive interior here. By taking Kenneth Grant, you kind of forced this Genty pick. I like it. Okay. Uh, I really like either Benjamin Morrison or oops, I put the edge in that corner. I really like either Benjamin Morrison here or Malachi Starks for the Colts here. I think I'm gonna go corner and take Benjamin Morrison. Makes sense. Notre Dame guy staying in Indiana, kind of writes itself. Okay, if you are the Bengals, you could think of receivers. Um, I should have had them trade up, but I took Tedero McMillan at 4. If I didn't take Tedero McMillan at 4, I would have had them trade up to get him. But going up, obviously they weren't going to trade with the Browns, and I don't think they're going to trade all the way to 4 to get McMillan. I think they would have rather wanted to trade up at the 7, 6, 7, 8 range if they could. Um, because with T. Higgins leaving, Tedero McMillan is exactly who you want to replace him. Um, Luther Burden does give them another good route runner, another good separator, another good guy that they could throw on a slant or throw on a screen and let him create after the catch. Isaiah Bond is a speedster that they could use as another deep ball guy. So they got some options here. I'm thinking, I'm thinking they're gonna want a Luther Burden, a guy that can beat man coverage, a guy that they can use because he can run out all every route in the route tree. And then, like I said, he also has that Jamar Chase aspect where you could just throw it to him in space and let him create. Obviously, he's not Jamar Chase, but he's another guy that can kind of do those things. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Luther Burden here. Okay. If you are the Buccaneers, I think we're gonna go ahead and take Abdul Carter here because he's falling way too far. And if I didn't trade out with the Panthers, that's exactly who I would have taken. Nick Scorton is here too. I'm just trying to think the edges they have now, or the edges they usually like. Are they more of an Abdul Carter body type or a Nick Scorton? I don't remember. I got Abdul Carter as my edge one, so I'm just gonna go Abdul Carter. If you're a Buccaneers fan, you let me know in the comment section if that needs to be switched to Nick Scorton. Just switch to Nick Scorton. In terms of scheme fit, body fit, all that stuff. Okay, if you are the Seattle Seahawks. I think Cameron Williams makes a lot of sense. Again, another guy that might be a guard at the next level, but you also need a guard, so that's kind of okay. But I think I like Ursula a little bit better. I mean, it doesn't matter because I think because Chicago's gonna take, yeah, we'll just go Cam Williams here and Ursary to the Bears. If you want to switch them, you can switch them, but it's the same it's the same thought process. Okay. The Rams, the top two corners are kind of off the board. You're kind of upset about that. Do you want to trade down? Do the Panthers want to trade back up and get somebody? No. I mean, realistically, they should, but also realistically, only reason why I did that trade was to get all those draft assets. I don't want to trade back up. Because again, this is where they wanted to be. You know what I mean? In a perfect world, they were, like I said, in a perfect world, they're a top three team. They trade back here and then trade back within this range again, and they get the same draft assets without moving so far down the board. But it is what it is. Okay. Ooh, Mikael Williams is here. I don't like any other. There's no linebacker I'm taking in the first round. Cornerback wise, again, the top two guys are gone. Let's see. Would they like a Dacario Davis? I don't think so. I feel like Seattle would have liked him more, but Seattle's good on corners. Um, yeah, the Rams are kind of in a weird spot here. The Rams are kind of in a weird spot. I kind of want to. I kind of want to give them another receiver. Cup and Puka Nacua both kind of been injured. There was rumors of them trading Cup this season. Maybe they trade him in the offseason, so maybe getting another receiver isn't the worst idea in the world here, value-wise at least. I just don't like their options here. And again, is there anybody that somebody's gonna want to trade up for? Maybe Isaiah Bond, but who's that team? that wants to trade up to get him? The answer is nobody. The answer is nobody. Um, yeah, I think I just take a Mecha Ibuka here. He fits that he fits that cup slash Puka Nakua type of receiver. And that way, if they do want to trade Cooper Cup, they can do that. Um, and even if they don't, he's somebody that could be like another understudy, another guy that's for the future. Yeah, like I said, I just don't like the value of where they're picking. Well, let's see what tackles are still here. I would love Josh Simmons here, but he's hurt, so I have a hard time having him go that early. Jonah Savelia, what? I do like a Johnny Cornelius. I think he'd be good for them. So let's go with that. Okay. And then if you are the Niners, kind of the same situation where you're kind of in no man's land in terms of value. Um, at least value in the positions that you want, at least. Um, again, Josh Simmons is hurt, so I have a hard time having him going this high. Talent wise, he's there, but he was out for the year, I thought. So I'm not sure. They could also go Jonah here. And again, this is a guy that could play both guard and tackle. So I think I'm gonna do that. Okay. For the Broncos, last time when I did this, the one that's not gonna be uploaded anymore, I had him taking Luther Burden. Isaiah Bond makes sense. Um, Isaiah Bond definitely can make sense. Nick Scorton makes sense. There's some edges here that need to go off the board soon. And maybe I could trade down for some edge. Uh, no, I think Isaiah Bond makes sense. Gives them a speedster. Luther Burden would have made so much more sense for them. That's exactly who they want, what Sean Payton wants. But he does give them a speedster, a deep threat ability. It sounds like they want to trade Cortland Sutton, and they just probably can't because they have no other receivers on this roster. So this at least gives you another receiver. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, the Houston Texans, they need offensive line help and they need defensive line help. Nick Scorton here sounds incredible for them, though. I think I gotta go Nick Scorton here. I think I gotta go Nick Scorton here. How do you not? Yeah, we're gonna go Nick Scorton. Okay, Atlanta. Kel Williams is still on the board here, and they need edge help. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so again, if you're the Panthers, this still works out for you because you still have Malachi Starks. You still have Kevin Winston Jr. You still have a Emeka Ibuka, which you can take because again, Adam Thielen will be gone, so he could be your superstar slot receiver. Um, you still have edge here, and LT Overton, and James Pierce Jr. and Shamar Stewart. Those are the three I would even think about: LT Overton, James Pierce, and Shamar Stewart. And to be honest with you, because there's so much edge, there is four trade downs here. You could trade up with some people. You know what? I'm gonna do it. So I did this last time and I hated it. Not this trade, but the pick. So I'm gonna have the Baltimore Ravens trade up. You probably don't have to, yeah, you only gonna give up 90. You're not gonna get anything more than that. And I'm gonna have them take Malachi Starks and have Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton on the same freaking team. And that's going to break my heart. But the thought of that is crazy. So I'm gonna have them do that. Okay. The Chargers, I should say. I'm gonna have them take Tyler Warren here, actually. Um, Last time I think I had him take Kendrick Grant. He's gone in this one. I'm gonna have him take Kyler Warren. And then for the Packers, I love this Siobhan Ravel pick for them because he's hurt. If he wasn't hurt, he would probably be a top 10 pick in his draft. He was clearly corner three, right? Think of Quinyon Mitchell last year. This same thing. But he tore his ACL, he's out for the year. But they can afford to kind of take him and stash him. So I love that for them. So we're gonna do that. If you are the Washington Commanders, we are gonna go LT Overton here. And then here you go, Carolina. We traded back twice. We got a bunch of picks, and we still get a guy that we could have taken really as a top five pick. James Pierce to me is edge two right now. Um, Again, me personally, he's edge two. Um, and there you go. You go ahead and take your edge guy, and you just got a bunch of picks while doing it. I think this is what they need to do. I really do. I really think they need to, if edge is where they're going, take advantage that this is a great edge class and just keep trading down, and you'll still get a guy that you would have taken in the top 10. So, yeah, let's do that. Okay, my Pittsburgh Steelers. Great win today against a really good Washington team. Um, Super entertaining game, by the way. Uh, of course, down to the wire as usual. Where do we go here? Um, I don't remember what I had us doing in the one that's not being uploaded. Um, we need a wide receiver, but again, I don't. Here's my thing with Emeka Ibuka. It's not that I don't think. One, I don't want to give up on Roman Wilson just yet. We haven't seen him all year because he's hurt, right? I think he could be our perfect slot guy. Two, I just have a bad feeling that Emeka Ibuka is going to be the one Ohio State guy that just doesn't pan out. There's been so many good Ohio State receivers in the league as of recently, and it's one of those things where like one of them isn't going to pan out. And Emeka Ibuka seems to be the one that's probably that one only because he seems to shine the best when he was surrounded by everybody else. Um, Not to say he's gonna be a bust or a bad player, but I don't think he's gonna be the superstar receiver like all the other ones were. And so again, there's a lot of guys that we could take in the second round and third round that would be perfect for us. And we are masters of taking receivers in the second and third round. At the beginning of the season, I said, no, you got to do whatever you can to take a receiver in the first round because you might need it. But now that we're seeing how this receiver class is shaping up, this is actually the perfect year to say, nah, we'll go ahead and take one in the second round like we usually do. So with that being said, where do you go from here? I think they should take best player available. Um, Oh, that's right. I did Barron for us, and I think I might do that again. We saw it again this today. Our secondary is very inconsistent. JPJ didn't even have a good game today. But Dante Jackson is going to be a free agent. He's been up and down for us anyway. I think we will try to bring him back. Um, but I still think we could use another corner to solidify that room even more. I think I do want to do this. Let's do Jahdae Barron for that. Okay. Now, for the Vikings, we kind of screwed them by taking Denzel Burke to he's kind of fallen out of favor as a first round guy, but this is the end of the first round, so it's like, you know what I mean? What do I want to do for them? I wouldn't take another running back in the first round to Emory Jones is pretty nice here. Again, another guy that a lot of people think will be a guard at the next level. If that's what you need, go ahead and take it. I think he's a good player. I know they also need corner, but again, I don't think there's another corner worth going this high, if I'm being honest with you. Uh, unless you could do something with Dario Davis. Um, man, I think we rather shore up that offensive line. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Emory Jones. Where'd he go? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, the Eagles, they need edge help, and there's still edges on the board, so we're gonna take one. Shamar Stewart, I think is a really good player. Jack Sawyer. Um, I probably should have had them trade up and get an edge and get like Mikael Williams, but them taking another Georgia guy, that's too easy, right? Let's just have them take Shamar Stewart. Okay, Buffalo. Um, let me see what QBs are still here. Jalen Miller was still here. Gary Nussberger is still here. Who didn't take a quarterback that probably wants a quarterback? The Browns. The Browns. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Cleveland trade up. Um, uh, 68. We're gonna have Cleveland trade up. Maybe throw in 131, whatever. And they're gonna go ahead and take Jalen Milrow. And they could do the same thing. Like you're stuck with Deshaun Watson anyway. Don't force this kid to play yet. Live with Deshaun Watson for one more year, and then Jalen Milrow could be your guy of the future. So I love that pick for them. All right. Detroit. They also need edge help. We've seen them, go above and beyond to try to get edge help. JT Tumalau is still here. Jack Sawyer is still here. Lane Jackson's still here. The question is, would they really take a Ohio State um an Ohio State edge rusher to go alongside of Aiden Hutchinson? Would be interesting. Would be interesting. But I think if anybody can handle that dynamic, I think it is a Dan Campbell. So I'm going to go ahead and take JT Tumilau. And then finally for the Chiefs, oh wait, there is a tight end still here. Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin is he's a receiving tight end. He's a big boy too, I think, right? 6'4", 230. That's actually kind of undersized for a tight end at the National Football League. It's a little undersized, a little undersized, a little undersized. But he's a good receiving tight end. I don't know. Makes sense. Let me see what else is here that they would even think about doing. They could go Mecca Ibuka. Oh shit. They could go Mecca Ibuka. They could go in Mecca Ibuka. Ooh. Um, but you know what? They do need tackle too. Hold on, they do need tackle. Who's still here? Now, would they take a chance on Josh Simmons? Josh Connolly is still here. Bemboo's still here. Wyatt Milam is still here. Yeah, I think I like that. We're gonna go Wyatt Milam here for the Chiefs. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So that is the first round. That's the draft. Here we go. We got Shador Sanders. The Raiders trading up with the Jacksonville Jaguars to take Shador Sanders. The Giants taking Cam Ward, Travis Hunter going to the Titans. The Browns take Tedero McMillan. Will Johnson, the best corner in the class, goes to Jacksonville. Will Campbell goes to Miami. Kelvin Banks to New England. And we have three Michigan Wolverines going back to back to back. Colson Loveland to the Jets, Mason Graham to the Saints, and then the Cardinals trading up to get Kenneth Grant. Addison Genty going to the Cowboys, Benjamin Morrison staying in Indiana to the Colts, Luther Burden going to the Bengals, Abdul Carter for the Buccaneers, Cameron Williams for the Seattle Seahawks, uh, Arate Ariante Ursery, I know I screwed that up, going to Chicago, and then a Johnny Cornelius going to the Rams, Jonas Savatier Savannah going to the Niners, Isaiah Bond to the Broncos, Nick Scorton staying in Texas for the Houston Texans, Mikael Williams staying in Georgia with the Falcons, Malachi Starks creating an unstoppable safety tandem with Kyle Hamilton in Baltimore. He could also play like some corner for them too. That's what I'm saying. I love that pick for them. I hate it as a Steeler fan, but I love that pick for them. Tyler Warren going to the Chargers. Siobhan Raval going to the Packers. LT Overton to Washington. James Pierce Jr. going to the Panthers. Jade Barron going to the Steelers. Emory Jones for the Vikings. Shamar Stewart, the new edge rusher for the Eagles. Jalen Milroe, hopefully the quarterback for the future for the Browns, so they can finally stop that long meme of quarterback names on the jersey. If you know, you know. JT Tuimoloau, holding down the edge for the Lions, and Wyatt Milam to the Chiefs. And again, the Browns trading up with Buffalo, so Buffalo does not is out of this first round. But that's the mock. It's the first mock of many. Um, we will again reconvene after the regular season and we'll keep going from there. But yeah, I'm for Brother for one. You can find me at Never for Brett Me. That's NEBA underscore the number four BRETT underscore ME on all the socials. We are the underscore dope blog on Instagram and threads, the dope blog, all one word on Twitter. Our website is the dope.blog, and because you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, and continue to join us as we continue to describe. I'm sorry, it's late. It's 3 o'clock. It's 3:30 in the morning. I'm so sorry. And join us next time as we continue to discuss other people's excellence. Deuces.